What's going on, YouTube? I've been watching a lot of videos on Southeast Asia. I'm currently in Thailand. I'll be taking a trip to Vietnam this December, so I'm looking forward to that. However, I've been looking at a lot of videos the past couple of months of Southeast Asia as a whole. Thailand, Vietnam, obviously places like Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Taiwan, moving close to more of the East Asia, Asia in general. You got Japan, China, right? And I want to land on China. My whole thing with moving to the, I guess, the Eastern Hemisphere of the world was to mostly do one thing, was to preserve and extend my livelihood and likelihood of further success and health outside of America. Intriguing is that in doing that, I look to benefit from a lot of successes that a lot of these Eastern countries are doing, especially in Asia. Not only are we in the future by time code, just how right the world is turning, right? We're 11 to 12 hours ahead, 14 hours ahead if you're talking about Pacific time in the Western Hemisphere. A lot of technical advances are here. You look at a place like Shenzhen, China. A lot of their living is as if it's 2050 or 2100. So there's a lot of other places. If we just look at Asia, that's really, really, really competing right now in just overall well-being and opportunistic advancement compared to America. You don't know that unless you start venturing out, unless you start hearing people who are from these cities, people who've done tours, people who visited, people who, research about it, who just wants to have an open mind and see how other people are doing on the other side of the world. What's interesting to me is with all things going on in America, America is still asserting themselves as the end-all be-all country. However, these other countries in Asia are competing. A lot of people want to go to America. That's slowing down. That's slowing down. That's slowing down, right? I hear a lot of people who's come from Asia, right? Who's come from parts of Africa, right? Parts of the Middle East to America and looking to come back. America is there for opportunistic advancement. There is opportunities, not guarantees. But I've talked to people, Russians, Indians, right? I've talked to, obviously, Vietnamese, Chinese people. I've talked to a lot of different groups of people, and they're looking to go back home or not stay in America. Asia is where the new American dream lies, right? You have competitive cost of living, right? Which means competitive housing, which means competitive healthcare options, right? You probably have better healthcare institutions or competing healthcare institutions where you don't need insurance, so it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, right? You don't have credit bombarding you in the need of debt. Rent is readily affordable, readily available, which includes all sorts of amenities and location advantages for getting in, your food and day-to-day trades and stuff like that. You have other people who are moving in this area who are very like-minded to travel, right, to different cultures and to having passive income and starting their own businesses, right? So you have a lot of things happening in this region of the world compared to America, and of course everybody's gonna always say, well, you're an American, you have a passport, right? You have this, you have that. You're not gonna denounce it, so you don't really want to be this part of America. That's true. That's true, right? However, one, I was never asked to be born in America, but two, I think everybody should take advantage of the opportunities that they have. But if you're talking about self-preservation, right, and advancement, sometimes you gotta look for other opportunities. Sometimes that means moving, right? Sometimes that means leaving your origin, state, city, province, district, or country. That is not wrong. Don't let people tell you that's wrong. You know, open your mind, look at other places. I'm talking to people who are more impacted, influenced, and living in America right now, right? You know, if you guys are looking to take that step because you're hearing the same stuff, you're living vicariously through other people, you can do it too. Create your own future. Look at the opportunities available. It doesn't work in one job. It doesn't always work in one relationship, right? It doesn't work in one school. So that means it doesn't work in one city. It doesn't work in one country, right? And not only that, there's a whole world out there that's doing not just the right things, but better things than America. Look at that. Look at Asia. Look at East Asia. Look at Southeast Asia. It's booming. It's booming and it's being extremely competitive. And I'm so ecstatic to just see where we can go. Maybe next year, my family and I will take a trip to China, right? Maybe take a trip to Japan. I don't know, you know, but the future is wide. There's opportunities. You don't have to break the bank. As long as you're doing some of the smallest, consistent, right things, your life can change. I'm trying to change my life. If you guys are a part of that, let me know in the comments. Keep maneuvering.
I guess my soap mean black been the new gold. Wonder if this bread come with peace. That's a new loaf. We up. That's a new float. They root now. Told them all to bury. This a new glow. I kept it all a beam like we see gold. I thought that I was air, so I grew this little mustard seed. Counting on this one hand who believed, man, they must have seen. Counting couple zeros, no one pitched in. This was all